Thanks again for everyone joining. Welcome to the first webinar for 2021. Hope everyone had a good break over Christmas and New Year's. I'm Amendra. I'm the Managing Director for Octane Software Solutions. And today we'll be talking about plan for anything and be ready for everything. And luckily we've got Kevin Jessop from IBM who'll be presenting today. So thanks to him. Maybe a few years ago, we did a sort of a program to look at how long does it take us to do annual budget. Across the whole organization, it took us 20 man years to generate one set of budget for the year, which was a ridiculous amount of time spent on doing something which we later found out was out of date the minute it is finalized. So have a look at your organization. How much time are you spending in doing the budgets, and what purpose is it serving? What benefit is it providing? The integrated planning. So a bit more about integrated planning. So planning is not only for finance, operations, sales, marketing, HR, and other departments and disciplines all need fast, flexible planning. And all of them need tools that provide insight and help manage performance. Some of the use cases that we've delivered in the recent months have been in the retail and the supply chain sector, where the company has used analytics to link their planning. For example, their demand planning that automatically updates their revenue plans, which in turn feeds the supply chain plans. IBM also commissioned Forrester Consulting to do a impact analysis and examine the potential return of investment that the companies realize after they deploy IBM Planning Analytics. So obviously you can see some big numbers here. So 63% reduction in labor time needed to complete the annual budgeting cycle, 80% faster processing of planning data, 70% fewer labor hours required to complete forecasting cycles. We certainly do talk to companies that we assist in coming up with a business case to implement something like this, and in almost all cases the payback period is under 12 months.
Traditionally, budgeting and forecasting is 90% data entry and 10% analysis. And what we're trying to do at IBM is effectively flip that on its head. We want to have 10% data entry and 90% analysis, because that's where the value add is. You know, how's the business trending? What decisions and changes can we make to improve our bottom line and so forth. So on this first screen here, I mean, traditionally it used to go through a series of tabs and update your budgets and your plans, and that was it. What we're trying to do now is change that focus away from, now the landing page here is all about, in this case, scorecards and metrics, and how is the organization currently trending before we start the planning process. So if we look here, we've got, it's a very simple example, but we're looking at actuals at the moment. I've got quite a bit of history in here. I go back to 1991. Got a few different members. These could be products, services, whatever it may be. And then out here to the right, you'll see my actuals will stop at 2013, and I've got nothing for 2014 onwards. So what I want to do now is use the built-in AI or predictive capabilities to produce my plan moving forward based on the historical numbers. So to do that, all we need to do is click on this icon at the top here. If I hover over it, it will say forecast, but it's just effectively a little line chart icon. If I click on that, it will bring up the predictive forecast wizard and help the user, or guide the user through in producing those predictive numbers. So on this screen here, I can pick when I want to start forecasting from. So effectively from 2014. So my last actuals came in at 2013. So I want to forecast out from there onwards. I'm going to go out to 2019 because that's all I have in my time. All right, so the first screen here is effectively the dashboard. It's got all the information that the rostering nurse may need, and we can obviously add more KPIs on here. But at the moment, we've got things like total cost, from a staff, the payroll costs and so forth, and all the related costs. Number of hours that we've allocated in a particular period, number of shifts, number of vacation days, and then most importantly down at the bottom here is our demand that's coming from our predictive models. So in this particular, I think we're just looking at a week in advance at a time. So we're expecting to see 23 patients. And then below that, we've got multiple scenarios that we can run simultaneously, which is really important, especially during COVID-19. Things are changing very rapidly, hour by hour, day by day, state by state, country by country. Things are changing very, very frequently. There's outbreaks happening, and then it goes quiet for a while and so forth. So the ability to run multiple scenarios at the same time and be able to change tact is very important to customers, to the hospitals out there. So in here we can see what nurses have got what skills. As they do more qualifications, we can go in here and give Juliet cardiac skills. So we can start allocating her to a department that requires that particular skill moving forward. The next one, shift and requirements. This is where we're effectively creating the buckets of where we're going to allocate the nurses to. So in this case, we're looking at 2 particular departments, so consultation department, emergency department, or ED, and then we've broken it up by day, by shift by day. So we're running 4 shifts a day, start time, end time, minimum requirement, maximum requirement. So as the demand goes up, we're probably going to be higher, on the higher end at the maximum requirement. As the demand reduces, we'll get to the lower end, the minimum requirement and so forth. So these are effectively the buckets we need to fill with nurses. So at the moment it's capped at 60. I've now changed the maximum to 65, and I'm going to run the optimization to put the cap at 65, redistribute the hours over the nurses based on their skills, based on their holidays, based on the demand, and everything else that we've looked at within seconds, which used to take the rostering nurse quite a long time. We're talking days, sometimes weeks, depending on how many nurses they have. So let me just quickly run this for you. So I'm going to add scenario 2 to my optimization queue. We can run multiple scenarios simultaneously if we needed to. So I'm going to run this now. So it's going to take all that information that we've put in here. It's going to take it off to decision optimization, run 14,000 permutations, and come up with the optimal plan moving forward.